Hi, this is Kerry Artek with Wicked Stocks, bringing you a YouTube video on the Nasdaq 100 index. This is more basic, big picture, just giving you some basic numbers to use for the next week or two, and sort of taking a look at what's going on in this index. I did record this video, by the way, on Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. Just so you know, and you may be well aware of this, you may be not, but wickedstocks.com has a daily triple Q. The triple Q is the ETF equivalent, really, to the Nasdaq 100 index. It's a very tradable entity, a high volume stock entity, really, that is, to say highly correlated, it's almost 100% correlated to the Nasdaq 100 index. So if you like using the Nasdaq 100, if you watch it, if you trade options on the Nasdaq, or if you trade the triple Q for sure, consider becoming a wickedstocks.com premium member. The daily triple Q report comes out every day. It's a 5 to 10 minute video, just like this one, really, every single day. And it actually gives a very precise and specific support and resistance levels. The formations that I'm going to be showing you here are on a weekly chart, and they change weekly. What I do in the triple Q is I show them changing daily, which is a much more fine-tuned approach. So if you trade the Nasdaq 100, the options off the Nasdaq 100 index, or certainly if you trade the triple Q itself, consider becoming a Nasdaq 100 premium member and subscribing to the daily triple Q report. It's $25 a month, well worth the money in my humble opinion. So let's jump to the charts here. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. The week of March 14th, we put out a key reversal low. The market broke to a new pullback low. It took out the low from about a month earlier, 3 weeks earlier, actually, by just a hair. So put out a new low, came rallying back, settling above the preceding week's high, and at the very same time also closed above a descending channel top that is presently at 13,574. Now, I don't show it here, but those of you who follow the triple Q report, the daily triple Q report, also know that that very same time horizon during the key reversal low, we had settled the week earlier below a long-term channel bottom that was 2 years in the making, and that set off a long-term sell signal. And I was saying, and it's true, that if you've got a classic setup for a long-term sell signal and the market rejects it, that in itself is a valid sign of strength. So we're still in that. Not only did we put out a key reversal low that week, not only did we close back above a long-term channel bottom, but we settled above this meaningful channel top that is today, or this week rather, at 13,574, and it drops next week, the week of April 14th. Sorry, gosh, I can see the number right here, and I say 14. April 18th. So next week, the week of Monday, April 18th, that formation drops to 13,409. And this formation, it's the only thing going right now in terms of meaningful support. And it can contain April selling pressures, and above which we can, over the next several months, push on up and retest that 16,764.86 high that was placed in November, that all-time high. That area remains in play. After all of what I just said, the failed long-term sell signal, the key reversal low, and the settlement above that channel top that is presently at 13,574, this is our primary support. Still, we have fallen off over the last few weeks, so we're sort of in a near-term corrective mode, which in the face of what I consider to be more of a mid to longer-term show of strength, still above 13,574. So we can still get up into that zone. On the way up, of course, there's been trouble, and there always is. So we've got a 5/8 upside Fibonacci retracement off that November high against the March low. That's 15,334, and you've got that old congestive area that played out for several months later last year, November and December, and the base of that is roughly 15,543. So that's a trouble spot on the way up. You might note this because it's not going anywhere. As long as that key reversal low remains good, that 5/8 Fibonacci upside remains there, as does, of course, the base of that consolidation formation. So the 15,334 to 15,543, almost a little over a 200-point range, able to contain weekly, possibly monthly buying pressures, and if settled above, should then, within 2 to 3 weeks at the most, yield at 16,764. So that's kind of big picture. And I will say that holding above 13,574 will keep that 15,334 to 543 area in reach by the end of May. So we can put out a low here at 13,574, dropping to 409 next week. That is good bottom picking territory. And from there, the market can consolidate and rotate higher. And by the end of May, we could actually reach that 15,334, 543 area. And as we push into Q3 over the next several months, we can retest the 16,764 high. But if we happen to take that area out, in other words, if we settle this week, the week of Monday, April 11th, I did record this on Wednesday the 13th. If we settle this week, and the last day of the week is Thursday the 14th, because we're going into Good Friday. So the last trading day of the week is Thursday, April 14th. If on Thursday we settle below 13,574, then all bets are off. This market is showing weakness. And not only would I expect the 3/8 downside Fibonacci, which is a long-term downside Fibonacci. You're looking at the chart right now. The two extreme points are the March 2020 low against the recent November high, the 2-year extremes that you can see in this chart. So yeah, there's going to be trouble there. But honestly, that's a double bottom that was put out in February and then again in March. That March 14th, the week of, was the key reversal low. So, there's going to be hesitation there, but I quite honestly think that if we settle this week below 13,574, this market enters another wave of bearish continuation that should possibly within 3 to 5 weeks result in a test of this new channel bottom that is presently at 12,337 this week, drops to 11,817 the week of May 16th. And why I'm putting that date out is because that is when that descending channel bottom intersects with a downside 50% retracement off that March 2020 low against the more recent November high. So, if we do close below the 13,574 channel top this week, then yeah, I think the 12,337 level is your likely outcome. I'm not a big fan of triple bottoms. The double bottom, the double top, you can actually see both have actually occurred roughly over the last 4 or 5 months. That November high was almost retested about 6 weeks later. And then once again, we put out a February low, and not only was it retested the week of March 14th, but taken out by just a hair. So double bottoms, double tops, sure. Triple, not so common. In fact, I like to use the word 3 times is not a charm when it comes to technical analysis. Whether you're testing channel formations, line studies, there's only so many times those things in the double and triple, double bottom, double tops can be tested before they give way. So I think, and this is a long way for me to say this, that if we do certainly close below that 13,574 channel top, that the 12,337 channel bottom is likely within about 3 to 5 weeks. And yes, there will be trouble on the way down at that 12,947 Fibonacci, but really it is the channel bottom we'd be looking for. That intersects with the 50% retracement of 11,768 the week of May 16th. So that may be the timing. If we close this week, Thursday, April 14th, below 13,574, then I would maintain a target of 12,337, dropping weekly within 3 to 5 weeks. And that actually kind of puts us in that 11,817 zone, that 50% zone. And that will be intersected. It'll be in that same vicinity for several weeks. So we could go even into later May, and it's still the same point I'm driving. Nonetheless, let's just remind you that holding above 13,574 maintains a stable market as we move through the rest of the second quarter, and that this near-term sell-off can play itself out and stabilize. So 13,574 able to contain selling through the second quarter, and above which we can, as I said, by the end of May, reach back into the 15,334 to 543 area. And as we push into Q3, we can retest the 16,764 high from last November. And I'm going to throw this chart at you just because it's going to be valid for the next week or two. And the point I'm making here is you've got a gap that occurred this week on Monday. We gapped below the preceding week's low. The preceding week's low was 14,307. The high this week of Monday, April 11th is 14,264. And so I don't think that areas are going to be taken out by tomorrow, that is Thursday the 14th close. It may be. We may get a strong rally, but I think the market is on the defensive right now near term, and it is likelier to test 13,574 than it is to settle back above 14,264 at the end of this week. So this is a good area for the next week or two. This is a pivot point to the upside into May activity. So let's say that we don't take this area out this week, that this 14,264 high is still good through the rest of the week, the next 2 days. Next week, it'll be an important upside pivot point, especially if we take out this week's low, whatever it turns out to be, and then rally up and do, that would be a reversal low in itself. So keep an eye on the 14,264 to 14,307 area. It's a narrow range of resistance that, if settled above over the next week or two, should pivot the market up into May trade. That 15,334 to 543 area then likely within 2 or 3 weeks, where yes, we can top out on a weekly, possibly monthly basis, and that is a zone that, if settled above, should then result in that 16,764 high from November within 2 or 3 more weeks, which, one more time, is still in reach over the next several months above 13,574. But if we close below 13,574, we head south into later May. And that is all I've got to say for this week's Nasdaq 100 index. I may be back next week with another Nasdaq 100, but I do like doing these. I'm just trying to squeeze it into my schedule. I'll talk to you soon. Consider becoming a wickedstocks.com member and subscribing to the daily Triple Q report, where I cover this stuff every single day in a much more fine-tuned approach. You have a great week.